You're listening to the Bud Light ULM Football Tailgate Show here on the Warhawk Radio Network from Learfield. A reminder that St. Francis Health is suited up and ready to meet your unique health care needs. At St. Francis Health, they put in the hard work because when it comes to your health, every day is game day. St. Francis Health is proud to be the official medical provider of the ULM Warhawks. And joining us today on the Bud Light Tailgate Show, Cathi Hemed. She is the director of external initiatives at the University of Louisiana, Monroe for the College of Business. And welcome, Cathi. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I love being here.
Well, I want to talk to you today a little bit about some of the good things going on at ULM, and there is always a lot of good happening. But we've got a lot going on in the College of Business with the Symposium coming up. And this year, not just a day of Symposium, but a whole week-long event.
That's right. It's our 20th annual, and we're doing it big this year.
Tell me a little bit about this Symposium. What's it all about?
So the College of Business Symposium was dreamed up many years ago as a conference for students that brings alumni and industry experts back to campus, and they present on a theme and show them what's going on in each respective industry in a conference-style round-robin sessions. And it gives students a chance to meet with these alumni, ask questions, network, also hear what's going on in their respective industries, and kind of get a feel for what conferences are going to be like as they head out into the real world.
So students are going to be treated to a week-long event. You always at events have big speakers that come in. Tell me who's coming in this year.
Yep, we're student-centered. So we have the very deep honor of having Cynthia Cooper, who was our first keynote many, many years ago. She is the WorldCom, who later became MCI, whistleblower that led to one of the largest bankruptcies in U.S. history at the time. It was the largest bankruptcy in U.S. history at the time. And she was the vice president of internal audit for that company and found a $3.8 billion fraud.
$3.8 billion. A lot of money.
A lot of money. And she was also Time Magazine's People of the Year. And she talks about how that was a struggle for her, you know, knowing that it was her own company, but that's her duty. And the team that it took to uncover all that and follow those leads, but also keep it private.
The College of Business Symposium celebrating 20 years, and you told me this time ULM's bringing in 2 keynote speakers. So we'll learn about WorldCom and take a look back at that, and a lot of the young folks weren't even born yet 20 years ago. But who is the second keynote speaker who's coming in?
Yep, so Cynthia Cooper will be Tuesday evening, and then the second keynote speaker is Ben Hammersley. He is a futurist and consultant, and he focuses on adaptive futurism and cognitive risk, and he famously coined the term podcast. So a lot of what you do, Cory, he coined that term podcast, and I'm sure you use quite a bit.
Oh, we use it a lot, and that's really interesting. I like listening to futurists, and I've got a guy that I listen to on the radio a lot, and they're still playing some of the shows 20 and 30 years later. And it's interesting, some nights they'll play one of the futurists from 1996, and you go, well, let's see if they're right or not. And they're interesting to sit down and see what they got right and what they got wrong all these years later.
Yeah, it's a shot in the dark. I don't know where they get their crystal balls from, but it's a definitely unique field. And our theme this year is celebrating our past and creating our future. So starting with Cynthia Cooper earlier in the week on Tuesday night, and then rounding it out and ending with Ben Hammersley on Thursday evening in Brown Theater.
Cathi Hemed's with us today, and we want to remind folks that we're on the Bud Light Tailgate Show. We're getting close to the Warhawks taking on Texas A&M, but if you're getting ready for the ball game, Bud Light wants to remind all fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. All right, let's talk a little bit about something else you've done that's a really neat event. It is the Pelican Cup, and you've done a few of these. There may be some folks out there that don't know what the Entrepreneurship Pelican Cup is. So tell me about this thing, and how did it come to be one of the premier contests for young business folks in the United States?
So it came to be an alumni of NLU, now ULM, was an entrepreneur at heart and by spirit, but didn't catch the itch until he was 40 years old. He grew up in Monroe, was a banker here, and very well-known figure, Mr. Dew Thompson. And he started bought a small plastics company in southeast Arkansas and grew it into one of the largest sustainable plastics companies in the world. And after he sold that company in 2019 for quite a bit of money, he came back to ULM and said, I think we need to do something. There are business plan competitions in other states, and I'm not talking just business pitch. I'm talking a full business plan written. They work for it for over a year. We need to put these students through a rigor, and we will reward them handsomely. And so he stepped up and said, we need to create this.
Now, I compared it one time to Shark Tank, and you kind of corrected me on that. But Shark Tank's a show that a lot of people watch and are familiar with, and those business leaders sort of ferret out your plans and ask how you're doing and figure it all out. This is sort of the same thing, but it's not making the pitch to business leaders in just a second. It is the whole big drawn-out plan, right?
Yeah, I'm sure to get on Shark Tank, you have to do the groundwork. You've got to show a business plan. You've got to show where you come from. So that's what we're doing. They have to have a team, a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 6, so they have to work collaboratively. They have to come up with a new venture concept, and they have to put it pen to paper. And then at the awards luncheon, as just a fun event, we do give more money for a 90-second pitch. So that's where that Shark Tank implements in.
Let's talk about the students who are taking part in this. First year you did this, how much money was on the line for students?
First place was $25,000. Second place was $15,000, and third place was $10,000.
All right. I took a little extended vacation this year with a little heart surgery. I missed this year's event. I understand it was great, and the money has gone up. So what is the money now on this ULM's Entrepreneurship Pelican Cup?
We sincerely missed you. We are now up to $50,000 top prize. Second place is now that $25,000, and third place is still $10,000.
And ULM President Ron Berry decided that this might ought to be opened up to other schools, and y'all have done that. Tell me, how did that work out this year?
We thought it would take us 5 years to get around the state and a lot of knocking on doors and trying to get our ideas in the door. And they started calling us. When they heard that prize pool and what we were doing for students across Louisiana, they called us. So we are now open statewide to any graduate or undergraduate student in a 4-year or part-time degree.
And it's a very high-energy program that you guys put on every year, and there are multiple chances to participate in this for students, and there's chances for their faculty advisors and things to get involved. Tell me a little bit about some of the plans that you heard this year. What's one that stood out to you that you said, those people have got their stuff together?
Yeah, we had very impressive first, second, and third place finishers. First place walked in on the oral finals. Now, I try not to read the business plans. I know kind of what they're about because I need to stay neutral. But it was impressive that Northwestern walked in to demonstrate 2 working prototypes of a rise and rotate chair medical device. And I'm talking, these were heavy 5-foot, apparatuses that they had 2 different working prototypes of that they showed off. So the engineering was incredible. They would lift a patient from the chair and move them to the bed, and then move them back from the bed to the chair with minimal, disruption to the patient and their health. And they're working on FDA approval right now. They've already got a patent. And they demonstrated that chair live at their oral finals with their faculty advisor as the guinea pig.
That is really neat. And these are students, young folks that are working on these ideas of the future.
Yeah, they must be a student-based team. So they have to be majority owners in these businesses, and they have to have C-suite level positions in the company.
The event will be coming up again. When do folks, you may have an idea right now if you're a student or know a student and you guys are working on an idea together. How do they how do they take part in this? When's it come up again?
So the applications will open January 3rd. Their business plan is due February 25th at 11:59 p.m.
Cathi Hemed with us today. A reminder, Guerrero and Guerrero, proud to be the official law firm of the ULM Warhawks. Go Warhawks and go Guerrero. Cathi, before we get out of here today, I want to again remind folks the College of Business Symposium Week. When is that week coming up?
It's October 2nd through the 6th.
And if there's somebody out there that wants to know more about what's going on at ULM and specifically what's going on in the business area, how do they find out what you guys are doing?
They can go to ulm.edu or they can call me directly at 318-342-1151.
That's Cathi Hemed joining us on the Bud Light Tailgate Show. You're listening to the Bud Light ULM Football Tailgate Show here on the Warhawk Radio Network from Learfield.